Now, I won't lie to you, my enjoyment of TNA in the last few weeks hasn't been the best. I haven't been so as engaged in the show as I want to be, and to me it just hasn't been as good. But tonight's show, I think it was pretty good. Now, I have a few problems with it, and a lot of them I want to talk about today. But overall, I think the show is good. So let's start with how it opened. So it opened outside of the arena and Santana is trying to come in, but Santino says that Santana has been suspended for 2 weeks and that he's not allowed in the arena. Santana keeps trying to get in, but Santino says he'll figure it out for him, he'll try and help him, but he has to go home. So he does. And then we also see Robert Stone being kicked out of the arena as he's trying to get in. That was quite funny. I really liked that. And then we open the show officially as Santino comes to the ring. He announces a bunch of matches, a bunch of stuff that's going to happen, especially related to the NXT people invading, and then makes a few matches for Slammiversary before introducing us to the Inspiration. Now, before we get to the opening match, I did enjoy how the show opened, just following Santino for a bit. He's quite honestly one of the most over people currently on TNA, and he's not even a full-time wrestler. But I enjoyed it. I think it was pretty cool. Now, regarding Santana being suspended, I absolutely hate that. I feel like they did the same thing with Joe Henry. When Joe Henry was building up so much and people started to enjoy him so much, they keep trying to not put him on the show. And now they're doing the same with Santana. Like, I guess maybe he has bookings or they want to use him on NXT. But I mean, come on. Everybody right now who watches NXT, TNA, even other stuff, everybody wants Santana to win, and now you're suspending him, keeping him off TV for a few weeks. I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me. I don't get why we do this. Now, Robert Stone being gone, that's fine. I think his storyline was fine, it was entertaining, but I think it's done. I don't want to see that get extended. So that being gone, that's fine. So let's get into the match. The Inspiration just squash a few jobbers. That's all there really is to it. We don't get really any follow-up afterwards, but it was good seeing them. I think it's good having another Knockouts tag team here, especially since we're going to have the By Elegance brand and Myla Grace and Harley Hudson as a tag team. So adding a third tag team, I think it really fills out that division and keeps it fresh for at least a little while. Like, yeah, sure, a bunch of the matches are going to be recycled, but I think they can make it entertaining. I mean, Spitfire versus the By Elegance brand was fun, and that lasted like, what, months? So I feel the Knockouts division, at least the Knockouts tag team division, is going to be fine with how they're built up now, especially if they maybe try and sign another team. I think it's going to be fine. After this, we get a first class penthouse segment, which was really entertaining. I just think AJ Francis and Casey Navarro are very entertaining. Now, they introduced their special guest, Trick Williams, but before that, they basically just rep their merch and then call the kid up to see who can do the best money sign, and then they just refuse to give him the money. And then Trick Williams comes out, and they basically, there's not a lot of meat to the bone here. It's just them talking about their new alliance and how they're going to be a team. Casey Navarro and AJ Francis have a chance to become #1 contenders by the end of the night. Gonna get to that later. So maybe soon all of this new faction is gonna have gold, and I think that could be pretty entertaining. Maybe I would like to see that. Now, I don't see AJ Francis and Casey Navarro getting those tag team championships, but maybe if they just hot potato it to them for just a little bit, I think that could be very entertaining. Then we have a backstage segment that I really like. Jason Hodge is preparing for his match when the System come up, and they basically tell him that he should get rid of Leon Slater and maybe they'll give him a spot in the System. And he's not sure about that. And then the Order 4 come up and Jason Hodge chooses their side. He's staying loyal to them, and then the two groups have a face-off. Man, I didn't like the System versus the Northern Army because I didn't like the heel versus heel dynamics, but the System versus the Order 4, that could be really entertaining. I would genuinely love to see that. There's already a lot of history there. Alicia Edwards and Tasha Steelz were a team before. Mustafa Ali was a former X Division champion who made the X Division championship relevant again, if that's what you believe. And Moose is the current X Division champion. Maybe Mustafa Ali wants that back. And then Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers and the Great Hands are just two really great tag teams. I would genuinely love to see the Order 4 versus the System, man. I doubt it's going to happen. I'm going to address that in a second. But man, if they can do that, I would love that. And then, you know, the System, they go on to the other side of the arena and they talk to Matt Cardona and basically tell him, hey, you should get a tag team partner for yourself next week and then you face us. Now, it was kind of random, but I didn't mind. I want to see, and they did address this, Brian Myers and Matt Cardona did have a little bit of face-off. So I would like to see that story progress if Matt Cardona is staying here and actually having a story. I know they did it before, but I didn't really watch during that time, so I would like to see it. I think there's a lot there you can still tell, especially since we know they have so much history. I'm kind of intrigued by this, and Again, I'm not going to get excited for who the special partner is next week. TNA always disappoints when they try and announce a special partner. Then we get to Leon Slater versus Jason Hodge. And man, when they announced this match a few days ago, I was so hyped. I love Leon Slater. I love Jason Hodge. I want them to succeed. So them being in a match together, man, I was sitting down for this and I was feasting. And it was a great match. Now, Leon Slater ended up winning the match. Again, I think it was the right result. Leon Slater should absolutely win that X Division Championship from Moose. Not that I don't like Moose, but come on, this guy, Leon Slater he's the future of TNA. If they have to play their cards right, and don't do the same that you're doing with Santana and Joe Henry, like not capitalizing on that momentum. Just put the belt on him and push him forward. When it comes to Jason Hodge, I mean, they're really putting a lot of trust in him, having a high quality match with Leon Slater, having a pay-per-view match with Mustafa Ali. I think he's really good, and I do think they believe in him, so I'm excited to see his future too. I really hope they push him too. Then afterwards, we had the Soul Knockouts match for the night, but it was fine because it was an 8-4-1 match. Now, it's basically a 4-on-4 tag team match. The winners go into a Fatal 4-Way match, where that winner then gets a challenge for the World Championship. And I really liked this match. It was very, very entertaining. Now, the teams were Indy Hartwell, Killer Kelly, Jody Thread, and Tasha Steelz, which is the team that ended up winning and the team I really liked. I really liked the dynamics there. Versus Rosemary, Danny Luna, Tessa Blanchard, and Zai Brookside. I really liked the dynamics of the team. Now, my only complaint about this is it felt too short. And that's fine. I wish they instead had the 4-on-4 match this week and the Fatal 4-Way match next week. I feel like that would have been a lot better and given both matches more time. But overall, this was very entertaining. I really liked it. And Killer Kelly ended up winning, which is to me the best result, because I want to see this feud with Masha Slamovich. Now, Masha Slamovich is interviewed backstage and she basically digs into Killer Kelly. And then it's announced that Masha Slamovich and Lei Ying Lee will be facing the By Elegance brand next week. Now, you know what I do wish they did instead is, it seems like they're trying to not reform MK Ultra, but kind of do a new version of it with Masha Slamovich and Lei Ying Lee, which is fine. But I do wish they instead had Killer Kelly come back and force them into a team again, even though they're kind of like this weird dynamic. Like they've both moved on from each other, but they're still being paired together. And then I think you build a feud from there. I think that could have been a lot more entertaining. Now, I'm fully aware that Killer Kelly is somehow going to get involved in that match next week. So I'm seated for that, but I just wish we did it a bit differently. Because, yeah, I wish we got... Because I felt like if they were still being forced to be a team, that would have been a lot more personal for both girls. And, give a lot more interest in the storyline. Make it a lot more interesting. Seeing their dynamic now and how they're both kind of uneasy with each other and still being forced to team together. Then we are announced that next week there will be a match, champions versus challengers. So all the champions will be teaming together against all of the challengers. So it's going to be Trick Williams, Moose, Steve Maclin, and the Nemeth brothers as the champions versus the challengers in Joe Henry, Mike Santana, Elijah, and the Rascals, which is going to be a damn good match that I'm excited for. And especially with Steve Maclin. Like I said, Steve Maclin in this promo really went into Trick Williams, saying that Trick Williams shouldn't come around here and trying to throw his weight around. Steve Maclin will put an end to that. And I've been begging for Steve Maclin Trick Williams feud, so I really hope they pull through. And the fact that Steve Maclin is going to be the only babyface in that match next week, some shit is going to go down, and I'm really excited to see what that is like. Next week is shaping up to be a really good show. We also seemingly get a few setups for some future feuds. Mans Warner is trying to talk about how he got cheated out of his match at the pay-per-view and he wants it back. He wants another chance. And then he starts attacking security guards. Tommy Dreamer comes out and then Mans Warner attacks Tommy Dreamer. And all I'm asking is, please no. Like, I get you want to do extreme stuff. Mans Warner, like, he's like the extreme guy here these days. Like, he does all the extreme matches. And it makes sense to put him in a feud with Tommy Dreamer, but I don't want to see it. Like, please, no. I don't want to see Tommy Dreamer on my screen in 2025. Don't make me watch a feud with him and Mans Warner. God, please no. Also backstage, Eric Young and Sami Callihan are talking about how they don't like the NXT guys coming in and invading their spot, but they both have different viewpoints. So before they split up, Eric Young attacks Sami Callihan, and that's seemingly a feud. Now, I'm kind of upset with this because I thought, Sami Callihan should join Eric Young and Northern Armory. I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I feel like Sami Callihan would have added a lot more legitimacy to that faction. Because as cool as Eric Young is, he's not a main event level guy. And that the Northern Army tag team itself, they're kind of nothing. They're kind of still jobbers. They have had no development since they first debuted. So adding Sami Callihan to that would have been pretty cool. I would have liked to see that, especially their dynamic. But okay, it's going to be a feud. That's fine too. I'm excited to see that. And then in the main event, it's the Hardy Boys versus First Class for the #1 contendership match. And this was a pretty solid match. Went pretty well. I'm wondering if Casey Navarro is okay because it looked like a pretty gnarly spot with his leg. So I hope he's good. I don't know. I haven't seen anything online saying he's not. So I'm gonna assume he's fine. But yeah, the match ended when Trick Williams started attacking the Hardy Boys, and then everything just went to shit because all the good guys and all the bad guys, Joe Henry, the Rascals, the System, everybody just came to the ring. Everybody started brawling. And at the end of the day, the good guys stood tall, which probably means they're gonna lose their match next week. I just think this was kind of messy. I want to see a solid finish to the Hardys versus the top First Class. Damn, Top Flight. That's AEW. What am I saying? Anyways, I do think tonight's show was pretty solid, and the main event, as messy as it was still pretty entertaining. I quite enjoyed it. So if I had to give tonight's show a rating, I would say it's a solid, 7 or 8 out of 10. We'll go with 7.5. A very rare rating. So yeah, overall it was pretty good. Like I said, I had a few complaints, but there was a lot tonight that was just pretty cool. Like, I can't really say I didn't enjoy the show. Like, a lot of it was just like, damn, I want more of this. So I guess that's good, right? That's what you want in your show. You want to sit there and say, damn, I want to see more of all this. And I think that's what tonight's show was. Now again, please don't put Tommy Dreamer on my screen. That's all I'm gonna say. And don't suspend Santana, just have him on the shows. But besides that, yeah, I think tonight's show was really solid. I really enjoyed it. So if you like, damn, I accidentally bit my tongue trying to speak, so I had to cut that out. If you like the show, please leave a like, subscribe. Or if you like my channel, please leave a like, subscribe. I cover TNA and NXT weekly along with some other stuff. So if that's your vibe, just leave a like, subscribe. We're at 500 subscribers recently, and that's really cool. So thank you to everyone. I'm going to say thank you so much. Yeah, leave a like, subscribe. Tune in whenever you feel like it. Goodbye, everyone.